Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 32 of our Curse of Strahd playthrough. If you are new here, if you've been here before, you already know, but we are the group called Trials of Imagination. This is our second campaign together as a group. We are just some friends that get together every Tuesday night to play some Dungeons and Dragons, nerd out, and have a fun time. The current module we are going through, as we've said, is the Curse of Strahd campaign. It's a lot of fun. It's a very dark gothic horror type of setting. The version we're doing is pretty heavily homebrewed, so whether you are new here or you are familiar with Curse of Strahd, there will be plenty of material that caters to both of those types of audiences, so there's something for a little bit of everybody. As the stream goes on, for anyone that's been here, you're already aware of this, but if you are new, you may notice that as we go throughout the night, we don't really engage with chat vocally a whole lot. This is perfectly normal. It is nothing personal. We are not ignoring any of your comments. We just have a limited time window of how long this stream and session can go. So we try to be very concise and respectful to all the players' time and give as much dedication to the roleplay and gameplay that we possibly can during that window. However, it's not to say we won't engage with you at all. Pretty much most of us are in chat itself, so you will see a lot of us talk there to any of you, and towards the end of the stream, once we get past the about 2-hour mark or so, we do the exact opposite, and we go to a post-stream chat where we talk about our favorite moments of the night and actually engage with any of you guys via questions or just talking to chat in general. So if that is your thing, there is a section for that at the end of the night. It just won't happen during most of the stream itself. So if you've been here a while and you do see anyone new that hops in during the stream, excuse me, if you would just please let them know so that we can all just keep going and everybody is aware of what's going on. That would be much appreciated. Some few minor announcements, nothing crazy going on, but there are a few things just as usual from week to week. We do have a merch store, so you can do exclamation point merch in the chat whenever you would like. We constantly try to update and add new things as time goes on, so always be on the lookout there for things that are relevant to what's happening in the campaign. A lot going on there. We have some new emotes. Some of them are not like new, but if you maybe have missed a couple episodes, we have emotes of each of the characters now. So all 6 player characters, as well as Strahd and one of the 7 called Omen, all have their own emote. And then we also got a few animated emotes added because of all of your crazy, ridiculous generosity of constantly giving subs and donating, which is ridiculous, but we love you for it. And we wanted to give back however we can. So we made sure to get some custom stuff that was dedicated exactly to what you guys have been showing up for, which is the Curse of Strahd D&D campaign. And we will in the future be looking for doing some animated emotes that are also probably more dedicated to that territory. But at least for now, some of those are funny to use contextually with what's going on. So there's that. We have a Patreon. So you can do exclamation point Patreon in the chat, and that will lead to all of that. That is one of those things that was kind of requested by most of you guys, to where you wanted to be able to give without Twitch taking away such a major chunk of your donations. So we managed to come up with that so we can not only achieve what you asked for, but also in the same line of thought, be able to give things back to you guys as well, because you guys are so stupid generous. We don't really know what to do with it. So we have to, what can we give back to you guys? Which, as one of the tiers, has a podcast. So we have a public podcast that is on Spotify. You can do exclamation point podcast and it will take you to that, as well as a podcast specific episode that comes on Patreon. So it's exclusive only to Patreon, and it's I think like tier 2 and up or something like that, but it's listed in the tiers if you go to Patreon. And once a month you have a podcast episode that goes up there that is only for Patreon members and goes into kind of specific details of some of the things that happen in the episodes, whereas on Spotify those episodes are a little more generic and just talking about D&D or nerd stuff in general. Also on the podcast on Spotify, we have the audio versions of the episodes that are happening right now. So if you miss them on Twitch or you can't watch them on YouTube and you want them in more of an audio format, that's where you go to do that, and you will find that applicable there. So that's all of the kind of minor announcements. There's one pretty big one coming up that we're going to go ahead and talk about now. and we will make sure to update as we get closer and closer because we are 3 weeks away right now. So we have, after tonight, we will have 2 more weeks of normal D&D. So we have episode 32 tonight, 33 the following week, 34 the following week, and then after that, which is March 29th, we are going to have our first official one-shot that is tied in to TOI characters, specifically in the Curse of Strahd type of universe, I guess we can say. It's a little loose, it's kind of complicated, but just the shortest way to explain it is from all the players and characters that currently exist in the campaign we're doing right now, that's what we're using. So the first one is going to be Bex's character, Elberth, and we'll be going back in time a little bit to times before this campaign and before anything that we've got to see with Elberth thus far and before she was even with the party. So you'll get to see a completely different side of Elberth and any sort of character she's intertwined with in her past and get to know a little bit more about that character in ways that you may not see during a session like this. So it's just a cool way to get to learn a little bit more about some of the characters. And we're going to be trying to do this with each of the characters in some way. Some of them might be comboed into one episode, but some of them might have each of their own episodes. We'll see. And we're going to try to do this once per quarter. So this will be the one for first quarter, and it's going to be mainly focused on Bex's character, Elberth, and it's going to be run by someone who's actually in chat, which is Mr. Stormer. In chat, I think it's Stormer415 or something like that. So he's going to be the DM for that episode, which is going to be nice. We're excited and happy to have him on board for that. Looking forward to seeing that and getting to play and experience with a new DM and explore some of Elberth's backstory. And yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. That's a pretty cool thing. I'm excited to see where all that goes, not only with Bex's, but all the ones in the future. So that is all the announcements that I can think of. SJ, did I miss anything that you can't think of?
The pause is me thinking, because you always point out my pause. No. Oh, also, Stormer has started streaming, and we would like to continue to support him as he always supports us. In this week's past stream, he painted Elbreth's mini. I don't know what he has in store in the coming weeks, but please check out his channel as well, as we like to support our supporters. That's it.
Absolutely. It has been a really cool thing to watch. Some of the players get to watch their character minis literally get painted. And always support your fellow people in chat if they choose to stream. They're coming to support you. Do everything you can to go back and support them if you're available. You know, life is what it is. Sometimes you can't show up to every stream, but whenever you can, if it's in your ability to do so, stop what you're doing and go watch Stormer415 on Twitch whenever he goes live. Because why not? Because it's really good painted minis and you should do it, quite frankly, in the words of Emperor Palpatine. Okay, so that is all the announcements for tonight. I think we are ready to get into episode 32. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Do we have a new Roll20 map?
And we're good. We're back. All right. So we are back for episode 32. We are Excited to see where things go after what last week was for sure. And let's do a recap, shall we? So last week on Trials of Imagination, episode 31, our adventurers found themselves at the mercy of whatever would come after the surrender at the gate, kind of yielding territory to all the enemies on the other side, including Ephraim of the Seven. But before any of the enemies could advance into Vallaki, we had a thunderous arrival via a bolt of lightning of a new character on the field, also in a hooded figure that was not visibly seen at all. It was just a dark shadow into the cloak. And it pretty much terminated any form of advances from the enemies into the gate, even though they had them all, quote unquote, dead to rights, we should say. And elected to kind of pull back and didn't have a whole lot of answers for it, other than they did make a mention of blood of the innocent has been spilled and we have what we need. So they decided to pull back from that. Not before yeeting Nadar unconscious across the battlefield, as well as pointing a finger and disintegrating a dragon from the inside out, which was a interesting turn of events that was likely not expected from most. And then all the enemies departed. From here, our adventurers have some conversations and are trying to recuperate and figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Millard, who has been running to the north gate, gets interrupted by a new character. And who else but the shadow that had been going around killing a bunch of guards that Zao had run into in some previous episodes. And lo and behold, the character revealed itself as Zeke, Zyle's younger brother. And Zeke and Millard had some interesting conversation, but ultimately Zeke allowed Millard to pass by unharmed, didn't do anything to him, didn't try to do anything to him. But he did relinquish some information that, at least the information that Zeke presented Millard, is that some of what is happening is all in thanks to Millard's actions, aka it might not be his fault. Millard proceeds onward to the northern gate and finds all the guards in the northern gate slaughtered, dead. There are none left alive. He then proceeds to head straight back to the party with haste to deliver the information that he has been given and found out. He arrives back at the party. There's a lot of exchange, a lot of interplay between people, some exhausted and slightly irritated, some drunk and trying to find alcohol. There might have been barrels that exploded in people's hands. I don't know. Things got a little crazy. But if you want a full recap of that, go back and watch it on the YouTube video. It's quite entertaining, bare minimum. And the company, in a short sense, regathers themselves and gets ready to make their way out, not before realizing that Mr. Luthrian is still alive, although has lost a limb in the process. His left arm is missing. He has made a makeshift tourniquet in the meantime to replace it, but he intervened in some little verbal scuffle before passing out, and Zyle plopped him on his shoulder, and they were getting ready to take him to the church for some potential healing, while Nadar and Mark were going to go to the tavern to get some rest. So the group decides to depart from there, leaving the lone guard at the top of the castle gate where he had been. He gave some sort of witty remark as the group left, of just saying that you guys are weird because of all the interplay that had gone on. He just kind of laughed, kept going, and then as they got out of sight, the guard at the gate started to transform, and it became apparent that that was actually Zeke standing there, and the guard that was on the gate truly was dead at his feet. And he said, "I'll see you guys soon." And oh, how soon it was. The company does split, so Nadar and Mark find their way to the tavern and go to get some rest. The rest of the group makes their way to the church, but ultimately is intercepted and does not arrive because Zeke decides to interrupt them before they're available to arrive. And thus we had the first meeting of Zyle and Zeke on stream, and it was short-worded, silent, a lot of tension. Really good roleplay from Richard on that one. Recommended going to watch if you haven't seen it. Then Zeke got ready to leave, but before he did, he pointed at Millard and said, just to add a little flair to it, he said the word activate, and immediately Millard felt some pain in his chest and started reacting in a strange manner of ways. And then Zeke disappeared and got out of there, and the last we saw, Millard started approaching Elbreth in an unsavory manner. And that is where we left off last week, but more importantly, where we pick up this week. So, last thing you guys saw, Zeke pointing at Millard saying activate. Zeke is out of there. He's gone. You're all left with just the party, minus Nadar and Mark. But you do have Luthien in tow, which is how I was carrying. So that leaves Elbreth and Ayla. And that's it. And Millard is approaching Elbreth. What do you do?
I whack him in the back of his head with my staff.
For just approaching Elbreth. Okay.
I mean, I can, obviously I see something happen. And you know that Ayla's more of one who just reacts.
Then.
It's long bulk wrap.
Well.
Yeah, because it wasn't just that. Because what was the dude's reaction to? Because Elbreth was like, "What is that? What did you do?"
Yes.
And what are you doing? And so he was still going at it, and then she was asking him. So there's clearly more than just walking towards.
Sure. It was more of just being joking, but yeah. Okay. Well, roll for hit.
It's gonna be really bad or really good. I rolled a 16. I don't know if there's anything to add to that, but
Well, what are you?
So plus 5, so 21.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I did math right.
let me think.
Yes, Ayla choose literal violence
reading.
today.
She woke up, got out of bed, and said, "I choose violence."
Okay. So,
She's had enough with this day.
It's been a real long day.
Look, I caught our DM off guard. He doesn't
No,
know what to do anymore.
No, I'm trying to think of the proper thing to tell Millard to roll.
Yes.
This is gonna tell me a lot about what's going on.
Uh-huh.
He only told me a little bit of what's going on.
Okay. Waiting.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
That'd be 14.
Okay. So, Eshe, roll for what the damage output would be.
I hate this.
We just had to make things complicated.
Was it is it bludgeoning or wait? I hate
It'll
this.
say on your sheet.
Yeah, well,
Or-
there's two different ones. There's D6 plus 3 or D8 plus 3.
What were you
D6
attacking
would
with?
be you attacking one-handed, and the D8 would be with two hands.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Like two hands on the weapon compared to one hand on the weapon.
Cool. Why don't they say that?
It's known. It is known.
Sure.
It is known
That's why I had to
far and
ask the
wide.
question. 6.
6.
Boop, 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 boop.
All right. So,
Anything that has the versatile property gets that two-handed
Millard.
damage bonus.
Millard only take 2 points of damage.
Oh.
And
I
then
wasn't trying to hurt him. I was trying to knock him out.
And then, per our message earlier, react accordingly with what just happened.
What was that? Who are you? Who are you people? I'm gonna turn back to Elbreth. What are you? You some sort of apparition? Some sort of demon? Where are my friends?
Well, this is different.
Who are
Still
you?
holding the staff.
Who are you? Are you an apparition?
I'm gonna make an attack with my rapier at Elbreth.
Before he does that, I look at Sal and say, I didn't think I hit him that hard.
Okay, roll for hit.
And I wanted. Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
What'd you want to do?
Well, I wanted to cast Hold Person, but like, how do you? We're not in initiative, so like, I don't know why you're.
Do an initiative roll.
You're gonna. If you're both gonna initiate, so let's roll for initiative. PvP.
Boom.
Here we go.
Let's go.
I have my note from last week. I wanted to.
boy.
I didn't
That's
attack
where we're
first.
setting off. I'm like, all
Just
right.
saying.
The
I got a
Donner Mark
23.
roll to see who sleeps first.
13.
23. I'm fast.
Oh boy.
It makes sense.
I think we're playing golf rolls.
Convenient. Ayla, would you roll?
Oh, am I rolling again?
Yeah, initiative.
Okay, I'm back.
I'll roll for.
Wait. I forgot. I have a thingy. 3, so 5. 18.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
Like how you go from 3 to 5. 18!
Well, really? How is that not? So let's see. 15 ends in a 5, so I had to add 3.
Yeah, but all we heard was
Initiative.
3.
I know.
All we heard was 3 and 5. We didn't hear the. We didn't hear
We're like, what?
15.
That's how I do math, okay?
Like, that's not how
I
this
did
works.
I did math.
Absolutely
That's not how
necessary
any
in
of this
that
works.
step. Yes, it is. 5 plus 3 is 8. Then you add the 10 in. That's 18.
Is there a plus 10? What do you have a plus 10 on?
Life.
What?
No,
No, I rolled a
Millard.
15.
Who else is left? Mile. Elmer.
Yeah,
no, I
so
think
where's
that's
the plus
fair.
10?
Do you want me to roll for Zyle?
No, I already did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
All right. Well, Millard won that out. So Millard, you go first. Followed by Ayla.
Alright, I guess I
Yeah.
gotta figure out what I want to do.
13 for hit with the rapier.
No.
That just
So
misses.
I'll stumble past her, wildly swinging.
Okay. So you take notice, Elberth, that this attack, what seems to be expressing now is just pure unfiltered rage.
Why did you bring me here? What are you doing?
Wait. Why did you bring me here? What are you doing?
I try. Is it my turn?
Not until Jay says he's done.
Okay.
I don't even understand what you're saying.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Albrecht, I do not think you are helping the situation. We did not bring you here. Someone else did, and you took the place of one of our comrades.
I bring my hands up to my ears. Stop that racket! Would you at least command one of your dark servants over there? Just stop screeching at me.
Are you
What do you
looking
want?
at a
Over-
direction?
What do you...
Over
Wait.
where?
Anything else with your turn?
That's it.
Now it'll be Ayla, followed by Zal, followed by Elberth.
I would like to try and My brain is giving me the wrong words. It keeps saying decapitate, and I'm like, that's not it. Dethrone. That's still not.
Incapacitate.
No, that's not even it. I want to take your weapon away. Okay.
Disarm.
Disarm.
Decapitate. That's just go ahead and.
It's like remove somebody's arms.
I'm like, I want to take the weapon away, but I forget what this action is called.
It's called cutting off the arms.
Everybody, this is pregnancy brain. Thank you very much. Okay. I want to disarm Millard. So basically dash toward him and then try and stick the staff somehow like kind of behind his wrist and then twist it to get the rapier out of his hand.
All right then. What in the world will we even make for this?
See, decapitating would just be easier. I just have to hit him.
Hit him in the neck.
Decapitating with a staff, that's not
Possible.
gonna work.
It's possible.
You just have
I
to go
believe in
fast
her.
enough.
Physically possible, physically improbable.
Yes.
No, that's not possible, not with human arms.
It's a good thing
Physically
she ain't
possible.
Not human.
Elven arms.
Yeah.
Not with elven
Not
arms.
physically probable.
Probable.
No.
Possible?
Possible.
It's
You have to
possible.
remember, you're a sorcerer or a wizard with magic.
It's true.
Mark.
Anything's possible.
And I'm just a guy who gets really angry and his body transforms.
Man, I really don't know like what to roll. I'm just gonna say, given the amount of steps you're doing in this case, I'm going to request acrobatics.
Okay.
There's a lot of things there. I feel like it'd be a
Oh,
mix. It
crap.
could be a mix of a few things, but
16.
It can be multiple rolls, Matt.
yeah,
If you think it should be.
right. I'm good with just that for now, so we don't overcomplicate it. But okay. Well, let's see. What all were you trying to do again? There was a
I'm
few
just
steps
trying-
there.
Really?
Go
I'm
for it.
gonna dash toward him and disarm him
Mhm.
By
taking
grabbing
the staff.
the wrist. Well, taking
and-
the staff.
Yeah,
Yep.
taking my staff and push it like behind his wrist, so that way I can just like twist my staff
Okay.
to twist his wrist.
So you
so
managed to
that he'll
get
let go of it.
you managed to get behind him and take purchase of the wrist. So to do the actual motion, we're going to do a head-to-head strength check. So
Okay.
Millard and Ayla both roll strength.
That'll be a 4.
She's got a
Heck,
chance.
15.
I'm a normal
15.
human being.
I mean, she could have rolled a 3, which would have been hilarious. But okay, so you managed to successfully do what you were trying to do.
Yay!
Let go of me! Get off me!
We're not here to hurt you. I don't know
What did
where
you do
you
with
came
my
from.
friends? Ah!
We are not friends with whoever brought you here. Okay? We have nothing to do with it. Don't attack us.
Where's Elbereth? Where's Zyle? Let go of me!
They're in front of you. Both of them.
Whose turn is it?
It will now be
I'm done.
Zyle's turn. Who is
Where's the penguin?
who is going to
I'm scared of murder, Zyle.
Penguin.
I'm kind of curious. You know, for now, as a DM stuck in a player's shoes, I genuinely don't know what Richard would do here. So until things get a little upscale or out of hand, I'm just going to say he is trying to figure out what's going on, and we'll try and communicate with Millard and just like, hey, like it's me, it's Zyle, Elbereth, Ayla. like trying to just point out that we were right in front of you. And that's all he did. So he's just going to take the communication route, but no sort of offensive route yet.
Don't lie to me. I know what's going on here. What do you want? You visited me before, and even then you wouldn't tell me what you wanted.
Are
He's
you
just-
Millard?
He's just going to look confused.
Am I Of course I'm Millet. Isn't that why you came for me?
We've been standing here. And then Zeke showed up. He did something. You got hurt. And then you started, like, lunging toward Elbrith.
My turn.
It is now
No, it's
Elbreth's turn. And then something else's turn. And then Miller's turn.
Something else's turn. Okay.
joy.
It's not important.
Then something else, Miller.
I wanna. So yeah, I'll cast a hold person. So yeah, just kind of hold out my mace to him, and then like a light comes, and like a little light rope tries to wrap around him, and he has to make a wisdom save.
Nice.
Up-a-da. What's the number for the wisdom save?
What'd you roll?
I rolled.
It's 13.
Well, that's not gonna work, is it?
No, and I was
But
looking
me-
at it. I'm like, my DC's kind of low. This is, but okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll work.
So yeah, I'll just do that. I'm just like, it's us. Do you not recognize us? Can you
I
describe what you're seeing right now?
I recognize you. At least, I recognize you. Saying this to Elbreth.
What about Ayla and Zyle?
What about them? What do you want with them?
Do you recognize them? Like,
What if they were here? You claim to be my
this?
friends, then why am I tied up?
For your own safety, who's this? And she'll point at Ayla.
Oh no. Some sort of creature. They belong to you, I guess.
Can you describe it?
Describe it. It's right there.
I'm
What do
not
you want
seeing
with
the
me?
same- I'm not seeing the same thing.
What are you trying to do? You shouldn't mess with my mind.
No, being called a creature is not the worst thing he's called me.
Stop that racket! Stop it
I
now.
don't know what to do. Should we take him to
Elbrith,
the priest?
by the way he reacts when I'm speaking, I do not think he understands words coming out of my mouth.
No, I don't think so. But I don't know. Should we take him to the priest and maybe he can? I don't know what to do here. Should we knock him out until
I
he's
already
back?
tried that. That did not seem to
Like
work.
we could just keep trying that.
I mean, if you really want to, I'm
Without-
not opposed. But at the same time, I need to stop talking, or he's gonna cause more of a fuss. Because apparently he only hears screeches when I speak. Is there anything that we could say to him that only we would know?
I mean, he seems to know that it's me, though, so I'm not sure if that would help.
No, I don't think he knows it's you.
Roll a history check, Elbreth.
Okay, because I thought he just said
With
I
a
know you.
history check with advantage, because you guys have been together for a while.
I think what he is saying was that he recognizes you, but he's not saying that he recognizes you as Elbrith, but as some other creature.
He did say my name. 20.
20?
I
Alright.
didn't say your name.
You
said
didn't?
that.
No.
No, I said that for gameplay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was.
I say that
Jake.
too. But yeah, I didn't say your name.
So with a 20, just to have some fun. So, Jay, what would be a fun thing you would prefer to give Bex that would be something that Elberth would remember that she could potentially present to Millard?
He loves dino nuggies.
Yeah, but that one's easy because who doesn't?
Who doesn't love dino? It's like saying you like chicken. Duh.
Look at the book.
My daughter told us she was vegan, and I'm like, chicken nuggets are meat, and she's like, no, they're not.
Not if I don't want them to be.
She's like,
I mean,
"No,
some
but
of the-
chicken nuggets is not the animal. I'm like, no,
I mean,
that's
look,
not how this works.
Let's
Some
be
of
honest.
those little instant microwave things though are like just soy, so it's fine.
Let's be honest. The McDonald's chicken nuggets that at least me, Elberth, and SJ, and probably Liam and Jay grew up with were certainly not chicken. Those things were gray. Like, nope, that was not
It
chicken.
was-
Yeah.
It existed. So something that would kind of like trigger something is he has a Ravenclaw necklace that has something to do with his brother that we've had conversations about before. About why he keeps it. Because it's not visible. Like it's not something he shows off. But it's something you know he has.
All right. So you see creatures around you. What do you see when you're looking at me?
Can't actually talk because I'm paralyzed. But
Wait, you're paralyzed?
I think
This hold
isn't that what
person?
hold person does?
I think. Oh, hold on.
Mhm.
Do I even know what I did to you?
Pretty sure her whole
Oh no, what have I done?
Paralyzed.
What has science done?
I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
what's
no,
going on.
it's paralyzed.
Paralyzed. Oh, and then paralyzed
Paralyzed!
is the one that you can't talk? Okay, so one where you can't talk. Okay. Okay, I don't know who you're seeing when you look at me, but this is Elbereth. I know we have the Raggedy Ann, you have a necklace, Ravenclaw necklace. You like to exploit Nadar for money in betting matches. And then, I don't know, I think I'm trying to see if I have a bonus action to do.
Weirdo.
Okay, and that's... Did he lose, health?
When I hit him the first time.
Mhm. That's the only time so far that I'm aware of, unless anything you did caused damage.
I thought first.
I don't think.
And
it
then,
was
so
really
then,
damage.
like, I also,
Just stab him.
I don't know. I wanted. Well, it would be nice if we could knock him out without, just the regular, just like knockout without like knocking unconscious, just like without losing HP.
Those are great friends.
Such good.
But yeah,
friends.
or also just be like, and as a sign of good faith, may the light rejuvenate you, and just like point a mace, and then we'll heal for 1d6.
I like how that's a question.
I guess I think I roll for that 5.
What
Heal
type?
for 5.
What type does it do?
The kind word increases your HP.
No. Like in terms
That's
of
a bad sign.
I don't know. There's different types of what are my options.
For healing, there's only
So
there's
the
only
description. What's the
healing.
description say?
Okay. If you have gain the ability to channel celestial energy to heal wounds. You have a pool of d6s that you spend to fuel this healing. As a bonus action, you can heal one creature you can see within 60 feet of you, spending dice from the pool. The maximum number of dice is charisma. Roll the dice you spend, add them together, and restore a number of hit points equal to the total.
So
Okay.
celestial.
Yep.
Light.
Well, it's
Yep.
healing, but yeah,
Yes.
it's from, if you want the source, it's from the warlock class. This is not my Aasimar one. I think this is my warlock one.
There's a reason it's hard to say why. But okay, so I'm going to go with the celestial term specifically, aka light, in a sense. Is kind of what we're going with here. Okay.
Let him roll some dice. Figure some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Kill some NPCs. Raise some other NPCs from the dead.
Take a drink out of a baseball bat.
I don't have a baseball bat.
Yep. Okay. So, this is notably going to shake Millard up a little bit, and he's going to be confused. Very confused. So you get whatever hit points she gave you, you will regain. So if you had lost any, you gain whatever she rolled. But internally, it's going to be like you were mentally not there for a second, and suddenly someone turned the light switch on. But I don't know, a good description. You would feel like you got a crazy hangover.
Got it. What's going on? Why can't I move my limbs? Why can't I see straight? Zyle, are you there? Mark? Is anybody there?
Are we able to like hear this though? Because if you're paralyzed,
We can hear him. He's talking.
It's
okay.
whatever
Can I go back to-
whatever you did has also broken the hold person as well. So he is back to normal.
Oh,
I'm gonna...
Millard, I am behind you.
Ayla?
Yes. Oh, you can hear me now. Oh, good.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I'm right here. I touch you, but I don't want you to attack me.
What? Why would I attack you? What's going on?
Well, considering you were trying to attack Albert a moment ago.
Oh, that doesn't sound like me. I saw a demon. With-
Nope.
Flaming red hammer. And he was commanding shadowy figures.
I was
hold
the
me.
shadowy figure.
was I the demon?
Yes. But once it was not I.
I'd seen it once before. A hooded figure. A deep black emptiness.
Do you see anything right now? You say you can't see Ayla. Do you not see it? Is everything black, or you just don't see her?
It's fuzzy.
I think he needs to get some rest, Albert. Why don't you take him back to the tavern with the others and then join us at the church?
I feel like maybe the priest might be able to help with this.
Well, either way, one of us is going to have to carry him. He can't see.
And at this moment, since like initiative's broken now, so like all that is over. But there was one more turn in the line, of which I'll give. So you guys hear from your the right side of the street and above a voice, and when you trace it up, there's Zeke sitting off the edge of a roof with his feet dangling, both his elbows just kind of on his knees and looking like this. Oh. And here, I thought that we was going to have a little more fun.
I
No.
turn to him and I go, "Am I not entertaining?"
No.
I wasn't trying.
Well, you didn't succeed.
Again, not trying.
I recommend you continue that. Just kind of looks at all of you. Well, no matter. It'll all come to a head soon. In the meantime, give my regards to your little friend there. Hope his arm feels better. Bye-bye, brother. He just shadows away.
I turn back to Millard. You see it?
Bye. And then I fall over.
I catch him.
Okay, well,
All right. Are we taking him to priest or back to tavern?
Let's take him to the priest, and if the priest can't do anything, I will take him back to the tavern.
Okay. You take other arm.
Alright.
Has the one arm over my shoulder and then my arm around his back.
Yeah, we'll do that too, and if we pass anyone, we'll just be like, oh, yeah, he's fine.
He's drunk.
okay. So, all of you are just going to proceed onward to the church?
Yeah. Well, unless Zyle has a difference of opinion on this. No, I didn't.
No.
No.
From what I've pieced together, what's happening, no.
Okay. I look at Zyle as we like walk up towards Zyle because we're behind him. I say, your brother is an interesting fellow, ain't he?
He's gotten worse, it would seem.
I wondered. Did not seem this bad from some of the stories you have entrusted to me.
Yeah, he was always a bit of a tool, but it was more like a screwdriver. He's a full-blown wrench now.
I wonder what he was like as a child.
Don't waste brain space on it.
Right.
Huh?
Well, let's get...
Actually, he was about as
Everyone.
hard-headed as you, now that I think about it.
No wonder we get along so well. Maybe one day I'll get to have a one-on-one conversation with the man. But then again, from other stories you have told me, may not be best idea.
Probably not for the best.
Well, let's get Millard to the priest and see if he can do anything about these things that keep happening with him.
Good idea for sure.
And
Okay.
then we head toward the church.
Your group starts to make its way towards the church. While you make your way there, we will spend a brief moment with Nadar and Mark with what they were doing in the midst of all this. So you guys arrived at the tavern while the group was moving off. Did you go straight to your rooms? Did you choose to have any conversations? What did you do?
Straight to bed.
Nadar's going to try get Nail and go right to bed. Is he? And I feel like we should keep in mind he looks like he's been through a lot. He is covered in blood. Probably some of them still a little bit leaky. As he just walks in, is like, ale.
So, as both of you go to your rooms and go to sleep, I need both of you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
13 plus 2, 15.
12.
All right.
The bedtime ale is what is really helpful there. Who doesn't have a bedtime ale? But bedtime ale's the best.
Ayla does not.
Mark
drink ale.
goes to sleep, and suddenly he's sleeping real good. He's good. He's just getting that deep sleep. Feeling fine.
All right.
Nadar gets to sleep, and right as he's getting on that precipice of like kind of falling in and out of consciousness, as you're like right at the cusp of becoming asleep, he starts to hear whispers.
Sleep time. Everything hurts. No. No. Who are you? What do you want?
Your soul.
No. My.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, sweet. Nope. That's an 8.
You fall asleep.
Yeah, I rolled a 2 plus 6.
Go.
Well, with proficiency in con saves
Oh.
doesn't work well with bad rolls. Am I gonna have to roll a backup character for next session?
I don't know. All right. So, back to the church. We go. In the meantime, so you guys have arrived.
Oh, we did it! We arrived!
At the outskirts of the building. Church before you. The only one that being a familiar sight to you being Millard if he were conscious. Are you still unconscious? Or would you?
No, I'm exhausted.
Okay.
Not like Mark exhausted.
Sure. Okay, we'll leave it unconscious for now. So, you guys have arrived at what seems like a clear site of a church building. Do you guys choose to enter? That would be Zal, Elberth, and Ayla.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, then. Roll for initiative. No.
Joy.
Oh, yeah.
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
What I was hoping for.
The Dark Souls
Come on,
boss.
cleric B.
Right. No.
21.
All
Only
right.
they play a cutscene first.
So,
Wouldn't it just be the person in front has first initiative?
No, because it's about reaction time.
Okay.
you guys make your way into the church. And who's carrying Millard? Ayla?
Ayla and
And Elbereth, like we both got like half
we're
of him,
both on
his
the
arm.
side. Yeah,
We're doing the whole like, like
carrying the drunk dude home.
Sure. Okay, so the priest is in there just kind of tending to a few things, just tidying up. And then he turns, sees all of you. Oh. Well, welcome. And then immediately spots Millard. No, not this one. Nope, not again. Once was quite enough.
Ian.
I assume he was here before.
Oh. 'Cause didn't he mention he said he
told you
tried to
guys,
steal the bones?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's gonna set in that this is where he tried to steal the bones from.
Really sorry about that. He really thought he was doing a good thing. It was nothing personal, I assure you.
Do you realize that no one has touched those for over 100 years?
No.
And
it seems they're not working correctly, so...
Be that as it may, we don't touch them. We don't do it. No touch. No
Okay.
touch. The rule is
We're
don't
not
touch the
going to
bones.
touch
I
them.
won't even look at them.
Fair. See? He gets it. He respects it.
Okay.
Why can't we be more like this
just
guy?
need a little help with him, though. If you can help, that's fine. We just take him away. But we wanted to ask because things are being weird with him,
I'm a
which is normal. But
priest. What do you want me to do about someone who's drunk?
well, he's not drunk. That's the problem.
Why are you doing the drunk man's carry?
Because it's easiest.
See,
I'm not going to cradle him like a little baby. Okay? So we
How-
are doing drunk man's carry.
I mean, given the size disparity, I think you could.
Again, I do not wish to carry this poor man like a little baby.
Fair enough.
Anyways, something seems to keep taking control or changing his viewpoint, and we want to know if there is any possible way you may cast out possible demon or whatever be possessing this man.
Well, I suppose that is quite intriguing. Lay him down on the pew over here.
Yeah. We oblige.
Okay.
Earlier, I think it was yesterday, our friend did take out a chunk of blackness from him, and that seemed to help. But things keep happening, and I don't know if that was enough.
I'm sorry. A chunk of what?
Black, was it goo? That's what I can't remember. Was it goo or was it hard? Was it a rock?
I don't
Extracted a
remember.
rock out of me.
You
Okay.
removed
Makes some out of sense.
a black,
Black.
goopy rock
Yeah.
from within him.
Yes. I did not do it. Our friend did it. He reached out and started pulling, and it seemed to hurt him a little bit, and kind of got a little stabby. But anyways, yes, the black rock was removed.
I see. And is this friend here now?
No, he's at
Do
the
you-
tavern.
He's just
Do you
gonna
know
lean-
Ismark?
Before Albert's comment, he's gonna lean to Zah. I think your friend is losing it.
No, she's perfectly cognitively there.
He's gonna lean to Elbreth. I think both of your friends are losing it.
Do you know Ismark? And I don't remember. Did he give us his last name, Koliana, or I don't know if that's the same here. I don't remember if he gave the name.
Yeah, he gave.
Do
the
you know
family name.
Ismark of Barovia? The village of Barovia?
Yes, I know little Ismark. Well, it's not so little anymore, but I suppose at the time I knew him since he was young.
I guess this is not something. It sounds like it's not something you can help with, maybe. But that part is true. Ismark was the one that pulled. I don't even know what. I know it sounds crazy, but obviously something is going on, because why else would someone try to steal the bones? So he's possessed. Just wanted to see if you could help.
He rolled an insight check on you, and pretty high one. So
I'm just thinking having a possessed person try to steal the bones is way better, right?
I
What?
don't really
What could
know if
go
he is
wrong?
possessed, because it's not like it wasn't him. It was just he thought you were someone else, and I'm talking to Elbreth. And then he thought that was some shadow creature.
True, but that could be the result of being possessed. I'm not really sure what's going on.
I've never really met a possessed person, so yeah, I guess I don't know what to expect.
Hmm.
Anyways, is this something where you can help us?
I can try. This is uncertain territory. I don't particularly know what might be going on here, but I can take an assessment as best as I can. Okay. Let's just start with this. He's gonna just close his eyes and lay two hands like this with both thumbs out and lay it kind of over Millard's chest, but doesn't touch him. And you see what is a light, circular pattern, like golden, luminous light, kind of appear on top. And if you're at an angle to where you can see at the bottom of his hand, the same thing, but black. There's kind of like a yin and yang situation happening. A light and dark energy that is starting to form, and he's just meditating over Millard. Okay, so Millard. What would I call this at this point?
Sorcery.
I'm going
DM shenanigans.
to get you to roll what I'm going to phrase as a sanity check. And I want you to use Arcana for it.
Okay, that makes some sense, I guess. In check, basically.
Mm-hmm.
14. You know, I'm super sane while I'm unconscious.
Mm-hmm. For 14, he's doing this, and you're still unconscious, and you will remain as such, so you will not wake up. But your body is going to suddenly stiffen and get very tight, and occasionally kind of thrust and move side to side as it is heavily resisting whatever is taking place here. And all of you see this.
Guys, you're just letting the priest murder me.
Yes, I am.
Yep. And
I look over at Zyle too. I'm just like,
well, the priest's demeanor,
right?
his demeanor turns from calm to confused, and his eyes are still closed because he seems to be concentrating, and just kind of turns his head a little sideways, and his hands are starting to shake a little bit. Do any of you want to say or do anything?
I'm going to let the man concentrate.
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt your concentration, but if you will, is everything okay? Because you don't seem like it's going as normal.
He doesn't respond to you. He's just kind of focused in. His whole body is kind of starting to shake as it's trying, and you can see the light starting to like flicker a little bit.
Can I offer the man a guidance? Or, hold on. No, that's not going to help. Yes, I would like to give the priest a guidance, just in case he has to make an ability check.
Okay.
That's a D4 to an ability check of its choice.
If I see him do that, I can just be like, oh, good idea. But I'll do that too. So you can get 2 D4.
Okay. All right. So you two do this, and his shaking starts to stabilize a little bit, and it's slowing down and starting to be a little less. He's still kind of like, his hands like wincing and moving a little bit because you can tell he's been having to struggle to keep whatever connection going, but is at least not violently shaking anymore, although he does have a lot of sweat kind of rolling down him now. Okay. Millard, go ahead and roll another sanity check, which is Arcana.
7, which is less good.
Okay. Roll. This is going to be bad. Roll a strength check with triple advantage.
$18.
All right. You guys are going
This poor
to
priest.
everything's and this all happens in kind of an instant, so like no one's really going to have a chance to react to this, but in an instant suddenly the light starts flickering really, really, really fast and just goes out, and then Millard's body lets out a harrowing scream of sorts that is in crazy high pitched and just loud, like banshee type of scream that not only kind of overtakes you in an audible sense, but almost feels like it has like a wind pressure come off of it. And as it does, every light in the church gets extinguished. And immediately Millard grabs the arm of the priest and breaks one of his arm.
No.
And that's where I'll end the sequence of reactionary points, and you guys may choose how to react before Millard gets a chance to, or before I tell Millard what to do.
I'm going to attempt to pry his hand off of the priest.
Okay. So the second you touch Millard, roll a sanity check. So Arcana.
Arcana, you say?
Mm-hmm.
7.
Joy.
You can mess with Nadar, you can
Just
mess with
matching
Millard,
Millard
but
here.
do not mess with Zyle. We need
Oh,
him.
but with my baby Zyle.
Mess with me all you want. I don't care.
Oh,
I have
no.
backups on backups
Oh,
on
no.
backups.
If we get 3 7s, we win.
That's how that works. You get 3 sevens and stuff. Like, hey, Curse Strahd's over. We did it, guys.
It's
Good
mine
job.
and Jay's secret plan all along.
Clap machine.
Bing, bing, bing.
The second you touch his arm, you feel a quick feeling of overwhelming darkness. The kind of like you feel it into your internal core, and you suddenly have like flashes of these variety of memories that do not seem to be yours, and they're just flashing by, and you can't even really tell what's going on because it's from a first person perspective, and it's just things that don't seem to make sense. And then suddenly you just see like looking down at a bar that you don't recognize, has drink in front of you. See a hand land on whatever shoulder you're looking through, and like looks up and sees an unknown character of some kind that is starting to talk to you. And as you stare at it, it starts to glow, and within the facade of the character that is talking to you, you can see a translucent Zeke behind it. And then suddenly just quick more motions and back to back to back to back to back, and then you see whatever first person it is running into fights and looking and seeing Ayla, seeing Elbrith, seeing Mark seeing Nadar, and you surmise at this point that you're looking from the viewpoint of Millard. And then you're back out of it. And when you're back out, both of you and Millard are now back to normal consciousness, but Zao has his hand on Millard, and Millard still has his hand on the priest, who is wincing in pain with a broken hand.
Broken hand or broken arm?
The wrist.
Little bit of both.
Yes.
Everything is broken.
Right about there.
Things are broken.
Oh, so 2-bit. Can I see the amygdala hanging on the sides of the buildings now?
Stop.
A uvula.
You don't have enough eyes yet, my dear boy.
Grant us eyes.
That sounds so moist, though.
Yeah. No, so
What's
you don't.
going- What are you doing? What am I doing?
Ow!
We're trying to bring you back, lad, but
Let go. Let go. Let go.
yeah,
let go.
please let
let
go of our priest friend here.
I relinquish my grasp.
His hands just like contorted and arm just twisted in places. It just looks unnatural.
Would I know if using a cure wounds on him would mend his arm?
Given the things you've
On
seen
the
in
priest.
Barovia thus far, I think no is about out of the question at this point. But given your knowledge of things where you guys are from, it stands to reason that it would.
All right, Father. Just bear with me for a second here. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I will give him a cure wounds
Okay.
for a whopping 6 HP
One or the
at
other.
the site of the
Not both.
break.
Never both.
All right. You guys are going to see the magic kind of like. What color would you describe the ambience of your magic if it were to happen?
Kind of a purplish hue.
Okay. Purplish hue kind of surround it, and the arm begins to like twist back to normal shape. He's like, be gentle, be gentle, be gentle. Ah! Ow!
What's going on, everyone? What happened with Zeke?
Oh, look at that. Well, that's fascinating.
How'd we all get in his church? What's...
He pointed at you. You kind of went nutty. I actually missed that, so I don't know exactly what happened.
And then
You're
you
doing
attacked.
great. Keep going.
You attacked me, and you called me a demon. You said Ayla's a shadow creature.
Again, not the worst thing you've called me. I walk up to the priest and just kind of like grab his arm and just pull him to the side a little.
No. Once was quite enough. Please, not my other one.
Just kid her. Like I grab him by the upper arm and then just take a few steps away from everybody.
Please don't break my arm.
I'm not going to break your arm. I
Once
just
was
wanted
enough.
to talk about what was happening.
It hurt. I just wanted to tidy up and then go eat a nice meal. I had a biscuit made. I was looking forward to it.
I'm sure you are. Now, what was going on? Because you seemed to have a little bit of trouble in the middle of the casting.
I'm going to be straight with you. I don't know what is going on with your friend.
Mhm.
But I do know two things. Whatever it is not from here. And it is very dark.
It's very dark and it's not from Barovia?
That's all I have.
Okay.
That much I can tell you. I've lived here quite some extensive time. I've treated quite a many variety of things between possession or ailments or whatever comes through the doors. That, no idea. Very foreign. Overwhelming in a lot of sense. Kind of drained me mentally, in a sense, while I was focusing in, as if the whatever it is has a life force of its own. It's very strange.
Right. Okay, last thing. If you look, my friend Zyle has a man with him.
Yes, I did quite notice the large body hanging over the man for a while now. I just, given the shenanigans this man has done to both the bones and now my arm, I guess I didn't think much of it at the moment.
Yes, he also needs help. Possession, I do not think he is possessed. I think just some form of healing would be. But if you are drained and cannot do anything further, I understand.
It's okay. It's okay. Good. Remember the biscuit waiting for you later. Okay. So, I will do this one more thing. And then if it is all right with you, after that, we're going to call it a night. Yes?
Yes, you may go get your biscuit.
Okay. Good.
We walk back to the group.
All right. I hate that I have to formally request this. Please, for the love of everything good, no one else break my arm. Yes? Good?
I won't touch you.
Fair terms.
Thank you. He kind of
Sure.
just stares at Millard. Okay.
So, on my feet. I need some fresh air. Too stuffy in here.
So I've still got Luthrian
On your
my
shoulder,
right?
at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Can I
Zyle,
I just
said
made
he would
help.
look at your friend there. So if you want to lay him down next.
Yeah, may I set this man down? He's wounded pretty badly.
Yes, please just lay him down and get the arm breaker away from me.
As I'm setting him down, I'll just kind of look to him and said, "Yep, thanks for your help, Padre. Sometimes you just gotta aim for the bushes and hope you hit something."
There you go, Q. Gosh dang it.
I
Okay.
that in like 7 months.
Okay. Well done, sir. All right. So, goodness.
Then I'll walk over to Millard and kind of hold out a hand so he can like grasp on, and I'll help him up, but I kind of want him to do it on his own strength too, just to
Sure.
for his own good kind of thing.
So, the second you lay Luthrian down, are you assuming it seems obvious, but laying him on his back? Yes.
Yes.
This is going to get funny. Like, I have to make sure to enunciate here. Father Lucian is going to see Luthrian. And
You did this to yourself.
Yep.
Jay, are you going outside?
I'm gonna start to walk towards the front of the church to head outside.
The second Zyle lays him down, the father's immediately going to have an immediate reaction. He's like, oh, good light from above. Okay, that's Luthrian. What have you been, guys?
Why don't
What have you guys been doing?
with Millard? Make sure he doesn't do anything rash again.
Okay,
Yeah, I
It's
was just looking for an
been,
opening, but I'll do that.
It's been wild out there, Padre.
okay, that
Undead armies, my psychopath brother.
he just looks very confused now.
I just nod my head.
I'm
I
sorry. Did
really,
you just
really-
say undead armies?
Yes.
What?
Yes, they were at your east gate. Hence why people were checking on the bones.
Biscuit?
I really, really, really recommend you get those bones working again.
Speaking of
Biscuit.
which, wasn't Hendrik supposed to be here?
He left quite a time ago.
Do you know where he was headed?
I don't know what that man does when he does it. It's a mystery. Oh no, as he comes up to ask some questions, trying to make sure the bones are working, and then your friend here tries to steal it, walk away, but thankfully Henrik was actually here to stop it, so that actually worked out in our favor. And then now here we are with my arm broke yet somehow healed. I'll have questions for you for that later. Quite interesting trick. And then now we're apparently have an incapacitated Luthrian in front of us, so there's a lot to take in at the moment, and now you've told me there's an undead army. I'm trying not to mentally break.
Not that there is. There
Don't
was.
forget you have a biscuit, though.
You don't know about the biscuit.
Biscuit.
The army is gone. That's, to be clear, it's not there currently.
Okay, well that is at least a small amount of reprieve, I suppose. Okay, let's start with what the heck happened to Luthrian?
My psychopath brother, the best I can tell.
Is that
Little family tension there.
it's kind of like looks up
He's
like,
not here currently.
okay, so to add
Honestly, I thought he was dead. I was glad to see he was still alive.
so
Luthrian, not my brother.
in addition to undead armies, now we have an undead brother that is trying to kill Luthrian?
No, he's very much alive.
Yeah, I don't think he is undead. He just he thought he was
Just not
possibly
dead.
dead. He's not
It
dead.
would
no.
solve a lot of issues if he were, but
Okay, well, I cannot get to this biscuit sooner. Well,
you know how family is.
I'm an only child.
I knew that was coming.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had a brother or a sister, but in my wildest imaginations, I don't think I've ever considered it in this light. Nope. Doesn't make sense. Okay, well, I'm not entirely sure what to do here. This man's missing an arm.
What? I say super sarcastically.
Ha 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 ha. Missing arm. I can't do anything about that, but I can, I guess, try to.
You can't do anything about the missing arm?
What do you want me to do? Make the arm
What?
grow back?
No, I assumed you would not be able to do anything about the missing arm. I was just hoping you'd be able to do something that heals him enough to bring him back to some consciousness.
I've stabilized him, but I was hoping you could make sure he stays that way.
That I can do.
Woot.
Okay. For the love of everything holy, if this man tries to break my arm.
Then backfire.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Stop talking. Okay. So he does the same gesture, but this time there is no dark circle under. It is just only a light circle on the top. And begins doing this time. He doesn't even really have to close his eyes for this. He's just more just kind of looking and observing the body. As you do see any form of scars start to very slowly heal up. And seems to stabilize the body. Okay. He is as good as he's going to be. I cannot speak for psychological damage because I don't know what happened to this man.
I'm gonna
Right.
step
Thank you.
outside the church at this point.
Okay.
And just stand there.
Same.
I'm gonna say to the priests, can you stay here for the night and have lodging?
Oh, of course, Lutheran is more than welcome here at any time. So that is not a problem.
Thank you.
If you point us in the direction of where you would like us to put him to rest, you may go and get your biscuit.
That is fair. Okay. So we have 2 rooms off to the right corridor. You will see a hallway. There's a door on the left and a door on the right. Which are just single bedrooms. They're just kind of spare for what we have in this section. There is some more elsewhere, but honestly, let's just kind of Nope, having to do directions because I want to go get my biscuit and I want you to leave. So, you take him to the hallway, put him in the room, leave him be, and then leave the building, please.
That
I
is
will
fine.
promptly do just that.
And we will check on him in the morning.
Thank you. Okay.
Enjoy your biscuit.
Don't tell me how to live my life. Okay. Starts
Okay.
walking away.
Tell me how to live my life.
Don't enjoy it then.
Why?
I don't want to enjoy my biscuit that I
guess
said
your
I'm going to enjoy.
I'm going to hate every single bite.
May it cause diarrhea and intense pain. I spit on your biscuit.
All right. So you guys take him to the empty bedroom.
Yes.
I'm fine.
So, question.
Answer.
Would my vision I had when grabbing Millard's arm, would any of that had any air of familiarity to me?
History check with advantage.
Yeet. It is a 17, sir.
Quite a bit of familiarity, but it brings you more discomfort than comfort for that to be what sinks in. It is very much like something you have read at some point that felt just like what it did back then, but now in a much more real and well, not physical because you can't see it, I guess, but like just feels way closer than it ever did.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
The other half is extreme violence.
TBD in episode 440 plus.
How are we define extreme violence here?
Give me a couple
It's gonna
turns and
involve
we'll
a bedpost for sure.
give me a couple turns and we'll
bed-
ask Nadar.
A bedpost and maybe a great axe.
Okay.
When we finish up putting Luthrian down, I'm gonna go outside and find Millard.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Liam?
At the time that you had me make that last save, I was still 2 levels of exhaustion, so I had to roll with disadvantage. Does a 14 still save?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good disadvantage roll.
Yeah.
Before
Lucky dog.
Before Zyle leaves, we put him down.
Mhm.
And Elbreth is with Millard.
Millard. Yep.
But I wanted to talk to Zyle first.
Yep.
So that was your brother.
Yeah. I was hoping you would meet on different circumstances. Like, never.
I feel like you have said that sentiment before. Is there anything else I should know about him, since it seems that we are going to be facing him a little more often?
I know I don't talk about him much, and I guess part of me was hoping that ignoring it would make the issue go away, but we had a falling out over our mother. She passed suddenly and of natural causes, and he couldn't accept that. And after a lot of back and forth and arguing, he thought the best recourse for that was to dive into necromancy. Well, you can imagine how that sat with me.
Yes,
We
it's
fought
yeah.
a lot over that, and he never could get past it. And it seems maybe, unfortunately, he continued down that path after we parted ways.
Do you think that was his army outside?
Wait, say that again.
Do you think that was his army that we saw outside?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Are you okay?
Been better, but I'll make it.
Okay.
Just be cautious around him. He still holds on to a lot of that sentiment, and as a result, the longer-lived races like yourself, he holds a particular disdain for. Thinks it's not fair.
I could agree with that. I have lived your lifetime twice now. And yet I still feel so much younger than you.
As he pops his back, it's like, yeah, that's not really a chore, though, is it?
Well, I mean, we have to hold on to the sadness longer. So,
I don't envy you, to be truthful.
yes. Anyway, well, let me know if you need anything or to talk or whatnot. You've always been there for me, and in this annoyance of time with your brother reappearing and whatnot, I will try and be here for you.
Zal, roll another sanity check.
Oh, no.
Millard, go ahead and do the same.
This one's better.
I'm going to use that DM inspiration for that.
Oh, you better. That was a 2.
15.
Was it
16.
2?
It was a
was a
2.
2.
Oh, wow, was it 2?
Thank you, DM inspiration.
And I think Q
You
gave
also
you
have
one.
Outrider gave you bardic inspiration.
What is the bardic inspiration? Is it D6?
No, you've been ruling it as
We-
it's
we-
the same as DM.
Yeah, we've been
for
doing it as
the chat
as
ones.
as
sweet.
reroll. So tomato, tomato.
So
and
I'm still sitting on that. I will
Yep.
sit on the 15 then. I'll chance it.
can't imagine why. Okay. During your conversation with Ayla, you're just having a natural conversation, and you do see Idris walking behind her in the church.
He takes note of that. And is Ayla still standing there, or is she walking off?
No, this was like during your conversation. So like kind of like while you were just saying what you're saying, you saw Idris walk by.
That when Ayla finishes talking and kind of sees Idris, he'll look up, and I know I have to put on the tough facade and everything, but genuinely, and you can see he's got a little bit of tears in his eyes. He says, "Thank you. I'm sure I'll need it."
Of course. This has been a long day.
It has.
Yeah. Are you guys proceeding to go outside at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. So while that conversation has been going on, Millard and Elberth have been outside. Millard, what was your role?
16.
Have your chance to say what you would like to say. You two are outside while everybody else is still kind of intermingling inside.
So I'm kind of like sitting around, just like looking at my hands. What an exhausting day.
Just kind of staring at him, waiting to see if something happens. Maybe a little too intently.
You don't need to watch me, you know.
Do you remember? Do you
Sure.
remember attacking me?
I don't remember attacking you. There's some sort of... It felt like a dream. I had one, you know, like when we were resting in the inn. There's 3 figures. They were just standing there. It asked me some questions and I answered. There was an overwhelming sense of power coming from them. It felt like that. Where it was... I saw a figure in front of me. And it was the same figure. A dark cloak. And an overwhelming sense of power and dread coming from him. But it was different this time, because my right arm felt even more powerful, in a sense. Or at least, I felt like I could fight. Or I should fight. It's just... It was like a word resounding in my head to keep fighting. Have you said anything like that? Any sort of entities? I mean, you communicate with things far beyond our capacity, right?
Not quite as you're describing, and most of the time I actually don't see my guardian when I'm speaking to him. Or he's not even speaking usually, it's just
It's like a feeling.
most of the time it's just concepts and feelings and images and stuff he sends to me in my dreams.
That's kind of what it felt like. Like I would say the word fight, but it was just... It wasn't really a word. I gave it a word.
The problem is, and it's not you, but I do have to watch you, because the problem is if your reality is getting twisted in that fight is going to cross against one of us.
How do you deal with it, Elbreth? How do you talk with these things? These things are in your head. How do you know when it's really you?
I never thought about it that way. It's just kind of just been just used to it all my life. I mean, when I was younger, I was ignoring it because he just wanted to, like, do good, and I didn't want to do good. But I just am used to it, so I never really thought about it like that, and now that's kind of concerning.
I mean, it hasn't really been like this until we got here. I mean, there's always nagging feelings. After a long drink, you have it a bit too much, or when someone says the wrong thing. This is more than that, and I know it's more than that. Makes it feel even worse.
The fact that it's here has me concerned that it's not something good, because nothing here seems to be good. We need to figure out a way to I'm not sure how to keep you in the same full reality as we are. Like, I mean, maybe you're seeing more that is there that we can't see, but I'm just concerned about if you hurt yourself or one of us.
I mean, I'm concerned about that too. You know, I've traveled with you guys a long time. I don't want to hurt any of you.
Yeah, and we know that.
But I mean, maybe it's better off if I stay here. I don't think the priest, he wouldn't like that much.
No.
Before breaking his arm, I don't think he liked me before that anyway.
No, he didn't want to help you because of the bones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jay, remind me what your role was earlier with your sanity check.
16.
During this conversation as is taking place, you just notice behind and to the left of Elbreth, just in kind of peripheral, something catches your eye, and it's just a flag blowing in the wind off in a direction, but you kind of look a little perplexed because the flag is the exact same flag that you and your brother used to sail under.
That's odd. You see that behind you, blowing in the wind? Is there actually a flag there?
No.
It says to the left, right? So,
Yeah.
but he doesn't say that. But he's like, look behind you, and like, look to the right.
No, on your other side.
You
The
only
tree?
see like what is a clothesline that has snapped a little bit, and like just clothes is just kind of like flowing in the wind.
The clothesline, the clothes, the trees, the sidewalk.
Just
Is there another shadow creature?
No, nothing like that. I'm fine now. It's just a memory. Just thinking of something. I mean, there's been a lot of that going around, like different people having dreams and visions. It's kind of crazy, don't you think?
It
My-
is.
My brother used to tell me stories. He was my younger brother, you know, and he'd just make them up all the time about different shapes he'd see in the water when we'd go sailing. I taught him everything he knew, you know, and so to keep up with me, he'd make up stuff to make sure he knew stuff that I didn't know. It's kind of funny like that. I mean, it was never true, but I'd let him go on just to make him smile. It just reminds me of seeing things and not seeing things. It's kind of funny when you think about it. But you know, I guess when it comes down to it, the real things are more important.
The moments you shared with your brother, though, looking at, joking about these things, so those were real.
Didn't save him though. He's gone. Now I'm here. I mean, this whole place just brings back those memories, and I don't know what it is about it. There's things I wish I could have done that I didn't do, and things I wish I hadn't done that I did. It's kind of like it is now, you know. Like, you just feel like you lose control.
Yeah, I understand, but all we can do is look forward and try to just do keep continuing on and doing the right thing and honoring the memories of those that we lost.
And around this time, Zio and Ayla would kind of be coming around the side.
Hi, mates. So, is it confirmed? Does the priest think I'm loony?
Yeah, he's pretty certain of it, but I may have swayed his opinion, so it's not really fair.
If it makes you feel any better, I still believe you're loony.
Well, you've always thought I was insane. I mean,
Insane. Loony. Probably.
It's part of your charm, really.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I'm pretty lucky. Maybe that's the good side of it. Bad side is I'm half crazy. Or at least this place is making me crazy. The main question is, what are we gonna do about it? I can't
How do
go
you-
around blacking
you
out
be-
all the time.
Do you believe you are sane enough now to not attack us again?
Yeah, I do, but I thought I was sane when I had that black goo stuff pulled out of me.
Well, either way, I'm tired of carrying this. And I pull out his rapier and hand it to him. You're welcome, by the way, for stopping you from hurting anybody.
I do appreciate that.
Hmm.
So, what are we gonna do?
When he
Well-
asked that, Zyl's visibly frustrated. He says, I feel like I could, prior to coming here, I had plenty at my disposal I could do to maybe sort out what was going on. And then, we all got weaker when we got here. And that seems very intentional.
You
The
know,
longer we're here.
Zyle, it's got me thinking about that fella or that thing we had to put down in the basement.
Talking about in the death house?
No, in the
No, I'm talking about that priest's son.
the priest's son. Yeah.
yeah, him.
What about him?
Similar situation, really. Somebody loses control. Gotta lock him up.
Are you suggesting we lock you up?
No, but what I am thinking is, the priest was somewhat hopeful. Different parish, different place. Either that or a less likely, less likable alternative. So you try to find Strahd.
I say we gain back some of our strength first before we do that.
I mean to ask Strahd's help.
You
Him?
can't still trust him. I mean, I know
don't
you
trust
weren't
him.
sure.
But he is powerful, from what I can tell.
I believe it is because of Strahd that kid was in the basement in the first place, was it not?
I'm just saying, for whatever ailment that I have that we don't know what it is, Strahd has some vested interest. Strahd has some vested interest in keeping us on the board, so to speak. And I don't like being played like a chess piece, as much as the next person, but Strahd seems to have some sort of influence on what's going on in this place.
I don't like the road this leads down personally, but I also don't necessarily think you're wrong. But that
So-
seems like more of a last resort than anything.
So the fact that his minions are the one who keep irritating whatever is inside him to the point that it comes out, you think we should go to the one in charge of them?
I think he's the only one who's powerful enough to know what's going on.
Well, didn't Ismark seem to know a little bit of something that was going on with you?
I mean, he ain't here. If we can find him, I guess so.
Well, he's back
But
at the
whatever
tavern.
he did last time, didn't seem to work.
Well, something happened. We can at least talk to him about it first. We
Right.
need to go back to the inn anyway, to the
Something
tavern
happened,
anyways.
but after that, things only got worse, didn't they?
I don't know if they got worse or it prevented something else bad from happening, but either way, we are going back to the tavern because we have to collect everybody else, and Ismark and Arena are there, so we can talk to them about it. But I don't feel comfortable at all going to see Strahd.
Yeah, that is not an option.
Jay and Richard, roll another sanity check.
How insane we are today. I'm
And
5 insane.
while they do that, back at the tavern, Mark is suddenly awoken.
He's alive.
You wake up, one of your points of exhaustion are gone. So you've lost one of those. We'll give you it's going to be easier to probably do it this way. We'll come back to it, but we'll talk about the rest stuff later. But you wake up because you feel some form of intense feeling of discomfort or dread, but not of yourself, but something nearby. And it feels like it's coming from Nadar's room.
Okay. Could you describe the feeling, maybe?
Pain,
Okay.
not physical, like internal.
I'm just gonna get out of bed and try to make my way over there. See if knock on the door, I guess.
Nadar doesn't respond,
I'll
but
try.
he also didn't lock the door behind him.
I'll try the doorknob.
Opens, is unlocked.
Okay. I look inside. What's going on?
So you get in, and there is Nadar, who is kind of just thrashing back and forth in his sleep, just occasionally saying no, no.
Oh, 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 ah.
No, Mommy, I don't want to go to school.
If only it were that nice.
I know. I know. I wish it were that nice.
I guess I'll just shut the door behind me and have us sit on the Millard's bed.
Okay. Shut the door, take a seat. And Nadar immediately just wakes up, just kind of in a gasp. Just
Are you okay?
and Nadar, just so I gave Lava some information, but to just explain out loud for the players, Nadar, you had a dream to where you relived something that you've had in your past, of which we've already explained in previous episodes. Only this time, Nadar saw the hooded figure reveal himself to him, but it is a character that Nadar does not know or does not recognize. But Nadar now knows, he now remembers that part of his history, even as he's constantly drunk, but is starting to unlock more of his memory, and he now remembers the face of who had a hand in orchestrating the fall of his home.
Nadar out loud doesn't realize Mark's in the room. So, how did he look again? I'm just trying to remember. How did he get? Huh?
Nadar?
So, what Nadar saw, which Nadar wouldn't know who this is, but
No.
young adult male, clean shaven,
I was trying to remember more like their build.
looks a lot like a younger Zyle.
So short, blue penguin.
Short, round, pink beard.
Mhm.
And massive fiery red eyes.
Uh-huh.
Filled with hate.
Mhm.
And malice. And the will to dominate.
Whole life.
Okay.
Right.
Are you okay?
Well, when did you get in here?
I just came over when I heard you, I guess. I don't know, I felt something strange coming from over here.
I know who I'm gonna kill next.
Nadar,
And I go back to sleep.
okay.
Sounds about right.
Nadar has a physical idea of his target.
Mhm.
He just doesn't have a name.
He does have a name. Zyle.
Looks just like him, but younger.
True.
So it's Zyle when he was younger.
So
The event was in the past.
Wait.
That means it can't hurt you. Because it's in
If he didn't
Right.
look like a short blue penguin with a pink beard, it had to have been Zyle.
yeah, it doesn't look exactly.
You know what, that's fair.
Doesn't look exactly like Zyle, so you wouldn't mistake the two for each other, but similar
No.
features. So,
A lot closer to Zyle than a penguin.
Mark, would you like to
It was
go?
green instead of pink?
Mark, would you like to go back to bed, or what are you doing?
I guess I'll just sleep in here. I don't know.
It's reasonable. Okay, back with our other group. Richard and Jay, what were your sanity throws?
13.
this number. This many.
That's a lot.
This many.
I wonder if I'm gonna go insane every other one.
Wait, hold up, wait. There you go, Jay.
That just feels broken.
Comes the 2.
It is if we are watching
I mean,
chat.
if we're honest, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're honest, that's way too late. Because he asked us to make the roll before.
right. Yep.
I think... however you want to play it, Matt.
I feel
So
like we also discussed the.
Here's
that
how I will play it.
brokenness.
He gave you an inspiration. You do not have to use it. So you may
Oh.
you may choose how you want to do that. If you feel like you probably it's too late, then keep your roll.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's too late.
Right.
But I'll keep the inspiration.
Why you gotta be a responsible, good player like that?
I'm going to go with
We're
the 5.
abusing a system our DM gave us.
I like how, like, 2-Bit just pushed
Because
away
the
that
second one was
responsibility,
a
though.
2.
He's just like,
Not it.
Yep. So, well, I just wanted to give it the decision in the hands of the player. So, both of you, but Millard a little more so to be stronger, but both of you are going to suddenly feel a shift in something, and you can't quite place your finger on it. But you feel like something has arrived in the area, but it's not close in terms of like next to you that you can see in eyesight, but it is close in a vicinity sense. Millard gets a better read on it and almost is suddenly seeing, like looking past Elbreth, sees what was not even the road he used to see and now looks like the outside of the gate of Valaki. He's seeing a different thing in front of him now, and he sees 2 black skeleton horses pulling a very large, dark, black, tattered cloth carriage with no form of rider, no form of anyone piloting the horses. And it just comes to a stop at what seems right in front of the gates. And the door opens by itself. And from it, like immediately you just hear just a bunch of Come. It is time that we discuss things. And that is where we'll end tonight's episode.
Sorry, who did
You
you
said
say saw that?
time, and
Just
I just
me.
think Rafiki.
Just
I
Jay.
saw that.
Just Millard.
Okay, just Miller.
When
Okay.
when you were describing the carriage, all I could think is we're going to Canehurst.
Which is
I'm sorry.
not any
my
better.
My brain's just going emotional damage.
Yeah.
Emotional damage.
So now
Yeah, that's
Lava has to hold on to something that, well, I guess everybody the players have to hold on to something that the characters
Yeah.
don't know yet.
When you said they sent something had arrived, we just watched Stitch with our kids for the first time.
Hmm.
And so you said something has arrived, and my brain just plays out the whole Stitch like jumping on top of the rock after he crashed. This guy-
All right. So, real quick, this is the post chat section, post stream chat section where we get to actually discuss the episode, have some interaction with you guys in chat. So, any of you guys who have been patiently waiting, this is your moment to throw out questions, to conversate about what's been going on, and we're actually going to engage with you real quickly. Lava's internet comes out first, and then Jay typically has to hop off. So, we're going to give those two first go at what happens. So, Mr. Lava, highlight of the night for you. What would you like?
Mark's response to Nadar, because like it's not a just it's like I don't know what's going on. Then he's not giving me anything, and I want to talk to him to find out more.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah,
He's not giving me more.
but sleep.
Yeah.
So I guess I sleep too.
Yeah.
At least he stayed in the room. So, that's a
Yeah. No,
comforting.
how I also first imagined it was my brain didn't immediately click that he didn't enter the room yet, just that he was looking in. So he just closed the door on Nadar and they're leaving him in there and he like walks back.
Nice.
Like,
That was my
not
thought for
problem.
1 second.
Nice. Alright.
I thought I entered the room.
Well,
Yeah, I thought you had entered the room.
before we lose you, thank you, Mr. Lava, for the gameplay tonight. Good job. Hopefully we didn't break Nadar too much, but we'll find out more next week.
Oh no, I already set up a ton of Nadar breaking.
Yeah.
So we got more coming.
Have a good week, Mr. We'll go ahead and hop you off. You enjoy the rest of your week.
Have a
Mr.
good night. Have a great night.
Good night, Lava.
Mr. J.
I think the funniest part of Millard's story was breaking the priest's arm. Like it's funny in the circumstances of like, man, how much is Millard gonna do to this priest? Like it feels really bad. But I like the conversation. I didn't even think about this going into this night, but the conversation between Millard and Elbereth was kind of neat. How he's like questioning stuff because it's something she's familiar with. Like obviously there's some sort of like entity that's doing something to him, and she has had dealings with, like higher order beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, this is a really cool conversation. So I really like that, where like she's still trying to figure out stuff because obviously. And looking back at my notes, I was like, oh, this fits really well. Elbereth doesn't necessarily have direct contact with her kind of deity. So she kind of struggles with the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least like understanding stuff. And I thought that was really cool.
Sure. That was a good moment. And seemed fun just to kind of leave it in the players' hands and just see what they do with it.
Boy, have I got some fun for you.
Oh, we'll get there. All right. So, anything else, Jay?
I'm curious to see everybody's opinion on what's going on with Millard. Just because I know a little bit that Matt tells me every once in a while to direct me. But
Even Millard doesn't know what's
I
going
don't
on with Millard.
yeah.
Knows more than everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
I know
That's-
2 + 2 = 4. Yeah,
All
but
right.
you don't know calculus.
So we got another redemption for an NPC, of which I'm gonna have to turn that dang thing off because there's so many to catch up on.
How do you
Ca-
pronounce that?
Cal, for the
He
Sake of it.
pronounces it Clutubs.
yeah, I was about to say, how is it? Clutubs.
Yes.
Okay,
Ask me how I know.
get in line
How-
after the count and after.
How do you know?
You can use it
Because
as a
I've had to
bad
deal with that idiot of a character in game.
Ah,
Actually, he's hilarious.
Joy.
oh, good. All right. Well, Mr. J, as always, thank you for stopping by. Had a good role play tonight. A lot of fun. So we will see you next week or whenever you hop off. So thanks for stopping by.
If I hop off in 2 weeks, then you'll only see me in 2 weeks.
Ah,
I
That
can
would be-
skip next week.
fair.
Not that I'd want to.
If Miller dies, then it all works
Well.
out.
Okay. See y'all.
Thank you, buddy.
See you,
Are
man.
you staying in Discord?
Good night.
No, I'm gonna hop out.
Okay. Stormer or Dirk,
Who's
if-
gonna be first? Let's see.
whoever's first.
Sub out.
Yeah. Tap out. Tap out.
Stormer
Yep.
wins.
Here he goes.
I got it.
Just gotta move it around. And then the classic 1-2 switch with the camera stuff. Always the
You wanna
fun.
Turn your camera on, Stormer.
He's deafened, so he'd have to hear it in the stream, so however long it takes to catch up to that.
It's been that bad. It's been like a couple, like 5 to 10 seconds.
It's usually pretty decent. So, okay, so we're going to go through our favorite moments of the night now. So, we're going to go through our players. But if any of you guys want to tell us your favorite moments of the night in chat, this is the moment. Let us know what you like tonight, and we will discuss that as we go. So, let's get some rolls going here. That is Miss SJ.
Oh, I get to go first.
You get to go first.
Ooh, my favorite part was when I looked at Zeke and said, "Am I not entertaining?"
You should have said, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah, that was supposed
That
to
was-
be the joke, but I don't think I actually saw that movie. So the fact that I got the quote kind of right is good enough for me.
Sure.
Are you not entertained?
I really like that, but also I was like, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, like, don't tease of any person to tease. Not that one. Not that one.
Right. I was just hoping that you would take the quote as the quote and not like actually kill me for it. So.
Yeah, I was benevolent in that moment.
Thank you.
Only mostly because he had a certain agenda, so he was just like, he's just kind of ignoring you. Okay. Any other highlights?
Oh, the biscuit. I like that we just will throw food in here. They're like, but I have a biscuit waiting for me.
I love it. It's always just these random stupid
Always
moments
breakfast food.
that I just throw out just to be dumb, and it just ends up like, yeah, let's roll with that.
Stick with that. Well, I
Dang it.
mean, last how many more times can we bring up a biscuit now? Because last season it was all about the blueberry muffin.
Yep.
So now, how many times can we bring up a biscuit?
Yep.
Since no one in Barovia seems to like blueberry muffins. So
Well,
Challenge accepted.
all right. Also, like Zio got his line in.
that he did. Sorry, Joker.
Good job.
Got other guys reference in D&D. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. That is Mr. Liam.
I'm muted.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. Okay.
For once, you're not.
Should just let him keep going, and then he has his whole explanation while actually muted.
Okay. What was my favorite moment? I actually really liked like Millard said, his conversation with Elbreth.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few funny parts, but I didn't get the quote that Ayla made.
Oh, it would be a quote from Gladiator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know.
That was there was another quote I said, but I don't remember it.
I don't know about. Yeah, there were a few funny moments though.
Sure. Okay.
Oh, when I said it's not the worst thing that Millard had called me.
And probably accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Probably quite accurate, actually.
I think. Oh, I guess one point of advice. Oh no, I guess what you did was good. Because I was thinking about disarming someone. You probably, realistically speaking, you'd probably want to make it as simple as possible and try and grab the weapon with your arm or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, we were just trying to keep it simple, mostly. But
Yeah.
it's always good to look into things and maybe try to improve, so it's never a bad thing. Anything else?
Nothing else.
All right. Moving on down the line. AK says, I like that there was a disarming, a broken arm, a missing arm. Seems fitting.
Yeah.
There's
All
a
the-
theme here.
All the arms. And then someone talked about an arm me outside. What a... Just all the
Wanna
things.
arm you?
So that is Miss Bex.
Yeah, I will also echo that. Was I don't know, as fun, Elbreth and Miller talking. I like the biscuit, and I think I broke Richard when I said something in chat.
You did. You did.
So yeah.
I don't often get to read chat as much as I would like, so I don't really know what we're referencing at the moment. But care to share with the class?
No, I don't think I
Bex,
will.
care to share with the class?
You said there was. You said that the what was it? A pain and a loud or very discomforting. Oh no,
Oh.
Mark was experiencing something very discomforting and painful from the other room, from Nadar's room.
Mm-hmm.
I said he farted. I bet, the drunk dwarf farts are quite painful.
That's rancid.
Richard enjoys a good fart joke.
Oh, not again, Nadar. Everyone has to
Runs
make
in,
con saves to
window
see if they
wide
throw
open.
up.
That's why
Projectile
so much we're
vomit.
like, it's not my turn. We're just trying to avoid that.
It's just like a scene from The Exorcist with everybody just projectile vomiting. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Bex?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It was just all very interesting overall. Yeah, just like the different things that Millard keeps seeing and doing and stuff. It's cool.
For sure. Okay. And then, last but not least, Mr. Richard.
As a just entire entity, Lucian, is that right? Isn't that his name?
Father Lucian? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
did you do that to yourself? By the way.
He's
Father Lucian is canonical to the book.
Okay.
he's the way you're portraying him is great. The real just anxious, standoffish, I'll help you, but I'm gonna complain about it, priest.
Yep.
Just all the interactions with him are great. I really liked the reveal of Zeke in Nadara's past. I didn't know about that. That's news to me.
Mm-hmm. It broke lava
oh.
when I sent that message to him. You can, if you want to go back and look, you won't really know because it wasn't verbally. But if I can find it, I'll clip it for you
I
and send
saw
it to you.
his, like, he kind of went nutso there on camera. I was like, what's happening here?
Yep.
And he was muted.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a really cool reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the conversation with Ayla where she's consistently like hammering it into Zyle's thick skulls, like, hey, I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because she knows that he's a belligerent fool that won't lean on anyone easily.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like their comments about like how she's older than him.
Yeah.
Like she's lived his life 2 times over by now, but she still feels younger. And then you're just like,
Yeah. Not a high bar to clear. I like how we got into the whole, like, the curse of long life and the long-lived races, and how is it really a good thing? The mild philosophy behind that. I kind of liked how I was.
Sure.
It naturally kind of evolved to that from Zyle's perspective too. That was not something I had planned at all for the campaign period, but seemed appropriate at the time.
Yeah.
Given the life Zyle's lived.
Very much so. And we finally got to hear a little bit of backstory of Zyle and Zeke, and specifically with their mom, and kind of what went down there with it, at least created the initial separation.
You said that happened when they were young, but like child young or like young adult?
Younger, yeah, young adult.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. for Zyle,
like,
you could even say like half a lifetime ago for Zyle.
yeah. Also, when I said enjoy your biscuit, and you're just like, don't tell me how to live my life.
Tell me how to live.
Like, all right, I curse your biscuit.
What was it? Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
He basically just would have probably just had the same sentiment of just like, go away.
No, I was saying, Ayla wasn't saying that. I was just saying.
You know what's funny? What's funny? That was not really the overall intent of how that character would portray, but given his initial response to Millard with what he did, and then having you bring in what seemed like a possessed person to him, and then it broke his arm, so then he's just kind of done. He's just nope. I don't know what you guys are up to, but I'm done. I don't want any part of it. I just want my biscuit.
I just want my biscuit and some peace.
He's like, yep, I'm out. Bye. I've had enough. I'm going to go over here.
Aim for the bushes, Padre.
Yeah. So, gosh, all really good moments. From just, it was fun for an episode for a DM because there weren't a whole lot of characters that I had to do much of anything with. So I really, other than the priest, so I really got to just sit back and kind of just watch you guys do your thing, which is always awesome. And getting to see you guys flesh out more details about the story that's going on, both currently and backstory wise. So it was cool to get to see a lot of that and get to just listen and focus. I think the only person tonight that I did not have a borderline communication or conversation with in text via Discord was Bex and Elbreth, but everybody else I had to like type stuff to at some point. Just like, okay, here. And then they'd ask a question. Oh, okay, here. But then it was 5 of the 6 of you. So I was just constantly having to go to the keyboard and look up and answer questions for different things that were answerable questions in all regard. It wasn't like, hey, give me the spoiler or anything like that. But
Bye, AK.
So that was great. Bye, AK. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Good night, AK.
From my perspective, it was fun to introduce something and bare minimum see Richard's reaction to it, but kind of process of how you guys were going to view it and think of it. So I guess this is a good time to ask of as a round robin question, I'll use that as a good one, I think. And we'll do a final call in chat because this is kind of when we're really starting to wrap up the night. But a round robin for you guys would be the second you heard that you were about to roll what I termed a sanity check. What was going through your mind as players in that moment, if anything? If nothing, it's fine. But we'll go in reverse order like we normally do. So, Richard, you can go first.
My thought as a player was, I wondered when this was going to come up.
It was only a matter of time. Concern. Yet excitement at the same time, knowing you.
Yeah. Because have you ever played the Call of Cthulhu tabletop? I really, really like that. So having that element in it made me happy.
Yep. It's a weird element. Because if anyone's not familiar with it, at least in terms of how it works in that module, there's not a good roll. So, like, even if you roll a nat 20, it's just the least bad option. Like, it's not... There's really no you roll and yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, we're good. That's not how that entire function works in the actual board game that he's talking about, the tabletop. So it's a very interesting mechanic. Okay. And then after that was Bex.
I'm sorry, I forget. What's the question?
Just your thought as a
You had to
player.
roll a sanity. What were you thinking?
When
They had to?
When the term sanity check came up, because that's the first time it's been presented in a campaign. Just what was going through your thought as a player, if anything. If nothing, it's fine.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, sweet. Like, I was waiting for some more, like, Call of Cthulhu stuff, because, yeah, I like that. So I was like, oh, sweet. Sanity checks.
This is just like the battle at the gates all over. Oh, sweet. It's entire horde that we're outnumbered by at the gate. Yes. Oh, a dragon? Yeah, give it. That's great. Let's do it. just seeking out punishment.
I mean, why else are we playing Curse of Strahd?
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Liam, same question.
Okay, that brings me to the idea that makes me think of my Ravenloft campaign that I'm playing. Because in that campaign we have sanity saves, I think. Okay. And there's sanity points too. So our characters could end up going insane. Yeah.
It's an interesting mechanic.
So I was wondering whether you were going to give us sanity points.
Not yet. Maybe later.
I do like the idea, though, of like, hey, roll this dice to see if your brain falls out of your ear or not.
Yeah. Just how well are you holding it together right now? Okay. Miss SJ?
I was just thinking, like, when Zyle had grabbed Jay's arm and he said, oh, you gotta roll a sanity check. I just thought, glad it wasn't me. Because I almost, like, did something, but yeah, I'm just glad it wasn't me.
And to be fair, to leave some mystery with it, there's not a guarantee that any of the other of you would have the exact same result. But it wasn't any of you, it was Richard, so that was the result.
Right. To be fair.
Okay. So yeah, I was looking forward to doing that mechanic because I've been holding that for a while. And I didn't really know when a good time to do it would be. But given that a lot of that was kind of brought to the forefront just naturally via the conversations you guys were having, you guys kind of made it pretty easy to just like, this seems pretty smooth and fitting to do it now. And then we got probably another one of my favorite moments of the episode when we got to have a kind of like a borderline scary moment with Millard, I guess, of, not one of your fellow compatriots having like a something from a horror movie type of situation to where he just has a banshee scream that you've never heard Millard make any sort of sound like that, and all the lights just suddenly, or the flame candle lights just get extinguished via whatever thing is screaming from Millard. So you'd have to imagine in your head the creepiness of a dark church suddenly that's vastly empty other than just you guys and this thing screaming in the center of it. So that was an interesting element, just thinking of it visually. Yeah, that was good. Getting to pull back the threads a little more of things that are going, kind of like Richard said, and revealing the Zeke moment, even though the characters don't know that yet, other than Nadar, which him and Mark, I guess, are the only two that didn't really meet Zeke in any regard, so they have no idea who that is. But
Nadar met him sort of already, but not me.
Nadar meet Zeke?
Like in the dream, that's what I thought. That
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that it's Zeke. He just saw the man.
Mm.
Yeah, because he hasn't. He has no idea that that's Zal's brother or anything like that. He doesn't even know the guy's name. So he just has a face now that it has remembered from all the blackouts or whatever you want to call it that Nadar's been doing of suppressing his backstory, is starting to like slowly nudge further into his consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's become apparent.
I'm killing next.
Yeah. And then back to sleep.
That was
like,
a
well,
very Nadar thing to do.
And you can certainly try. I don't recommend it, but you can try. So that's fun. It was a fun night of a lot of expositional stuff for sure. But I think that has done enough. I don't see a ton more things going on in chat, so we're going to go ahead.
I don't see any more questions. If anyone has any questions, speak now or forever hold your peace.
True that. Reminder, so we'll do like a post announcements kind of like we do at the beginning. So we do have a really cool one-shot coming up at the end of the month. It'll be the last Tuesday of this month. So some of the players will get to have a week off, and some of us will still be here to have a special one-shot that is centered around the character Elbreth, played by Mist Beckons here. And it'll be in her time before Ravenloft and before the party that is in this campaign. So it'll be before any of that, and we'll get to go a little more in depth with things that went on in her backstory, and it'll be run by Mr. Stormer. He will be DMing that one shot, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that at the end of March. It's going to be a lot of fun. But until then, I can't think of anything else. It's been a nice fun time. Wild Ride, episode 32. Looking forward to episode 33 next week. But until then, everyone have a wonderful week. We appreciate every last one of you for everything you do and your constant support and just showing up and just being present. It's a pleasure to continue to do this every week. So thank all of you. Look forward to seeing you next week. But until then, everybody who's still here, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Till next time.